All right, everyone. Welcome back to the DCAP. I know it's been a long time. We've all been at school, just really busy, but now we're back for the summer, and we'll be back weekly. I'm here with Mikey to my right and Trey over there to my far right. Tonight, we're going to talk about the NFL draft, post-analysis. We're a month away. All the hot takes are done, so everything's settled down. So I figured, let's talk about our teams and our picks. I got the Giants, going to be very, controversial. Got Mikey with the Vikings and Trey with the Saints. Later, we'll have Tom with the 49ers when he comes in. So let's start with Mikey with the Vikings.
The Vikings, they made me very happy with this draft. First round, they addressed what, in my opinion, is the biggest problem on the team in their offensive line. They drafted center Garrett Bradbury. I think he is the best interior lineman coming out of the draft, and I think he's going to make an immediate impact. In the second round, they drafted tight end Herb Smith Jr. out of Alabama.
Oh, he's really good.
I am very excited to see what he can do, especially because of all the talk we're seeing about Kyle Rudolph and what his future is going to be with the Vikings, no one really knowing. I think he's just going to be a great replacement, and if we end up keeping Kyle Rudolph, I think them two will be a great 1-2 punch at the tight end.
So personally, what do you think happens with Kyle Rudolph?
Kyle Rudolph, I think we're going to trade him, to be honest. I think it just makes the most sense. It's not only because we just drafted this young... I think he's going to be a really good player, this young kid. I don't think he's really going to fit with the scheme the Vikings are going to try to do this upcoming season.
All right, yeah, and I've heard teams like the Giants might be interested.
The Patriots,
they have Benjamin Watson out the first 4 games, so they could probably use... Benjamin Watson's not going to be the starter. He's too old for it. So, yeah, Kyle Rudolph and Benjamin Watson, that'd be a great, 1-2 punch at the tight end position.
Oh, yeah. And in the third round, the Vikings, they managed to pick up a replacement for losing Latavius Murray. They picked up Alex Madison out of Boise State.
He's very underrated.
He's basically the exact same back as Latavius Murray in my eyes. Same body type. He's just put his shoulder down, go through the hole, pick up a good chunk of yards. I think he's going to be a great replacement, and I think he's going to complement Dalvin Cook really well as well. In the fourth round, I was surprised with this. They took another offensive lineman, and it's Drew Samia out of Oklahoma. Oklahoma. I think he's going to be the dog of the offensive line. He just has this attitude. He will go out of his way to finish a play. And that is, I think it's something the Vikings need, especially on their offensive line. And I think it's just going to make an immediate impact. I think he is a day one starter.
Yeah, no, definitely the Vikings line was kind of hurting last year.
Oh, it was garbage.
Yeah.
It was garbage.
Yeah, no, I can relate with the Giants. Garbage offensive line. We didn't have the luxury that, Trey Saints over there had.
Sorry. One of the best offensive lines in the league.
Top 5.
Can't relate. To cap off the Vikings draft, I think in the 7th round, taking Dylan Mitchell out of Oregon, I think it was a great move. With Laquan Treadwell, I'm iffy on him. I think this season is a make or break for him if he doesn't perform up to the Viking standards of taking him as a first-round pick.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I think he's done. I think bringing in Dylan Mitchell is only going to be good to push Laquan Treadwell if needed, but I think if Laquan doesn't reach the bar, I think Dylan Mitchell was a good person to put in that number 3 position.
I was definitely big on Laquan Treadwell coming out of Ole Miss. He was definitely a great receiver. Definitely hasn't, proven his round 1 worthiness right now. Big year for him, obviously. The Vikings have a top duo at receiver. You got Thielen and Diggs. It's very tough to stop both of them. I figured Laquan Treadwell would be a great 3.
Yeah,
now he would get more attention.
Yeah, all they really need is the 3. I honestly believe Dylan Mitchell is also a steal in the draft. I love seeing him in Oregon. He had a really good year this year.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think the Vikings had a really good draft. It'll put them in contention in the NFC North. I'm not sure it'll be enough to win the NFC North, but I think they'll definitely be in contention, definitely for a wild card. And, maybe if the Bears and the Packers kind of slip up, I think the Vikings could be there to pounce on that division. All right, so next we'll move on to the Trey with the Saints. So, Trey, How you feeling about the Saints draft?
I think the Saints had a pretty strong draft. We don't have that many holes in our team overall, so it's just about, really not making horrible mistakes with these picks. And, I think we filled in a lot of our small holes. We got a new interior lineman because Max Unger retired. We got a nice vertical threat as a tight end, even though he's very, very raw. Got a good backup safety. And I think we got a potential steal in Chauncey Gardner-Johnson in the 4th round.
Definitely.
But to start off, to go back to my center that we got in we didn't have a first round pick. In the 2nd round, we picked him. Yeah, he's from Texas A&M. He's a 3-year starter there. Honestly, he does everything you want from a center. His only main problem really is he's kind of a smaller center, but his technique is great. He's handled Dexter Lawrence and a lot of other people in the class. So I'm very happy about that pick. I think he's going to be an immediate starter for us. As I said before, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, I was surprised he was still even on the board. He's a safety, but he can also kind of play corner too, so I expect him to play in a lot of different spots for us. Just doing a lot of different things, because our 3rd corner has kind of been the problem the past couple of years.
Yeah, definitely.
PJ Williams terrifies me every time. Good for like one holding call a game. We got a good corner out of Rutgers too. He was actually the first player drafted out of New Jersey in the entire draft. He gets hurt a lot, so he hasn't really gotten a chance to play. But every time he's stepped in for Rutgers, he's been always one of their better players.
I mean, yeah, you get Rutgers, you get those top teams in the college football, with the Big Ten. So obviously, if he's doing pretty well, putting up good numbers, he's doing something right because he's going up against the powerhouses like Michigan, Michigan State, Ohio State, Penn State.
Exactly, that's the benefit of playing at Rutgers. They don't have that great of a team, but they play against elite teams, pretty much week in and week out.
Yeah, so if you could stand out at Rutgers and really put up numbers, you're doing something right, and it definitely raises your draft stock.
Most definitely. He's very good in coverage. He's kind of, shaky, and when it comes to being a run-stopping safety, that's not his thing. But over time, I figure he'll get better at that too. But
yeah,
he seems to be pretty good passing.
When you're looking at the Saints, I think you're looking more for coverage anyway. You're not looking for, that.
Peppers, yeah.
You're not looking for that Landon Collins guy, really.
Not really, no.
Because you look at Landon Collins, he's, he can get behind, in the box, and he's one of the best when it comes to that.
Yeah,
but when you get him in coverage, he looks lost.
Potential liability.
Yeah, so that's as a Giants fan, many people were outraged when we didn't bring back Landon Collins and we let him just walk. But he was kind of liability in coverage and injury prone.
All I'm saying is y'all should have got something for him. You just had him on the team the entire time and he just walked out.
I agree. I think we could have traded him, in the middle of the season like we did with Snacks Harrison. But, what are you going to do now? It's,
it's too late.
You never knew. He would have been loyal and taken a price cut, but he didn't. But, the Giants are setting up for next year. It's going to have a lot of cap. So, I think, it's definitely the rebuild. Even though Gettleman doesn't want to say it.
Yeah.
Don't want to say it's a rebuild, but it definitely is. And with the Saints, there was not much really to go as in upwards for the Saints. I think they're the best team in football.
Appreciate it. Yeah, it was more about maintaining.
They definitely they should have won the Super Bowl, in my opinion. If they would have went in the Super Bowl, I think they would have beaten the Patriots. I think you just get any quarterback other than Jared Goff in the Super Bowl, and then that team would have won.
Yeah, it's always a horrible what if you can always think about.
The Saints have been just so close. They could be 2-time defending Super Bowl champions right now.
Just heartbreakers after heartbreakers, honestly. It's crazy sometimes. But
I'm curious, what do you think the future holds for Drew Brees in the quarterback position?
There's a potential chance after the Dallas game near the middle end of the season last year that Drew Brees might have fallen off a cliff. I personally don't think so. I think Drew Brees is going to come out and have a great season next year. It might be his last year. And if he retires, I think Teddy Bridgewater should be our quarterback moving forward.
You think Teddy Bridgewater could be there for a good while?
Yes, I think Teddy Bridgewater is learning the scheme and the culture. I think he fits. A lot of players in our team really like Teddy. And he has a similar path to Drew Brees, just a little bit. Started on a pretty good playoff team, Vikings, Chargers. Then he got hurt and had to leave and go to the Saints. And, maybe he could do the same thing Drew Brees did.
So what about Sean Payton? Do you think, you're hearing all these things about him going to Dallas, do you think Sean Payton is going to be there for, years to come.
Yeah, honestly, every other offseason it seems like there's a rumor about him. It's because of Bill Parcells' coaching tree. That's where Bill Parcells coached there. So I just don't ever really pay attention to it. I think he's going to be here for the long term, at least as long as Drew Brees is going to be here. But I think he's going to want to be here for the foreseeable future. He's not that old of a coach. So.
And do you think the loss of Ben Watson is really anything important?
He's a good culture guy, but the Saints culture is pretty strong enough to begin with. I think we'll be all right. We brought in a good tight end that I really like, Elise Mack, in like the 7th round. A lot of upside. So, and we got Jericho, which is
unrelated. Oh yeah, that was a great pickup.
That was amazing. Yes. So
just makes that offense even more dangerous.
Yeah, we're good. We'll be okay on Ben Watson.
So from the Saints, we'll go to the NFC West and bring in Tom. So the 49ers.
Yes.
How are we feeling about the 49ers?
Well, to be honest, Dom, I think we had a really good draft.
Yeah.
And obviously, you can't ignore the number 2 overall pick in Nick Bosa.
Of course.
Personally, I believe Nick Bosa has the potential and the body to become the best player in the draft. Easily. Do I think he will be, though? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
If I was the Niners, I would have taken Quinn Williams with the 2nd pick. And here's why. Ever since Solomon Thomas has been drafted, he's been moved into the interior. He's been a defensive tackle. But only standing at 6'2", 6'3", I don't know if that's the best fit for him. He was at Stanford and his natural position was on the edge. But for some reason, we just decided he would play better in the tackle. Maybe it was Arik Armstead's presence or the current roster. But yeah, and I think Quinnen has the intangibles, especially over Nick Bosa, to be the best player in the draft.
I mean, Quinnen Williams out of Alabama, obviously taught right, got a lot of experience.
Of course.
Against top 10, not top 10 teams, but just top teams everywhere. SEC, getting that experience in a high pressure, situation in, the playoff games. I think he's going to be a great fit for the Jets. Help to get that defensive line back to,
I love
what he used to be.
Prospect.
He's definitely, I think he was the best player in the draft.
It's hilarious how young he looks, honestly. Still rocking braces and stuff.
Oh yeah, he looks like we're older than him.
Yeah, he could be, they put a hat on to be a recruit for college right now.
Yeah. Nick Bosa, you think he can, sustain, the success with his other brother? Yeah.
The only thing I think that would stop Nick would be his injury problem. And we're already seeing that in OTAs. He's already been injured. He's slightly strained his hamstring, I believe. And maybe that's a coincidence, but it puts a little doubt in me,
Yeah.
But we'll see. I think if he pushes through that, he can maybe even be better than Joey. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean Joey's on a top defense over there in Los Angeles with the Chargers. I think the Chargers right now have the best overall team in the NFL. Like from both sides of the ball.
Oh, just combined.
Yeah, if you combine both sides of the ball, I think the Chargers have the best team in football, the best roster. Whether they just never live up to the potential.
I'm not sure if they can beat Tom Brady.
That's the problem.
That's me personally. It's just evidence.
And they don't have a home field.
That's the problem.
There's nothing to fear about the Chargers.
But see, that could also be a good thing because when they go on the road, it's kind of like, well, we're kind of playing on the road almost, every week because, our home crowd isn't like a big, threat.
But then it's also at home. It's like they're away, depending on the team.
It's good to be used to be able to play away, but you love having a home crowd. Like that's what makes
it
like the Seahawks and the Saints special, like that they have that.
I think once they, get a legitimate, stadium, I think they're going to bring in the crowd again. I think, and if they can get some success, they're going to grab in that attention. I think if they could have beaten the Patriots last year, it would have definitely helped their fan base.
Absolutely.
But I think that's just the hump. I think they could beat every team in the AFC right now except the Patriots. I think that's the only team that's stopping them. So back to the 49ers. So who do we have after Bosa?
This is a combination of two. The second and third rounds. When the Niners picked Deebo Samuel out of South Carolina, who, in my opinion, could be the best receiver in the draft. Beside N'Keal Harry. I feel like he's surefire number 1 to me.
Oh, yeah.
But back to Deebo. To be honest, I'm going to be bold here. I'm not going to say he's Odell.
Oh, Odell.
He's definitely he's lower. He's a lower version than a poor man's Odell. I would say.
Yeah.
But I think he's more like, he's more comparison to Jarvis. But I do see some Odell in him because he has the speed. He has the athleticism.
Jarvis.
Yeah, exactly. He has the hands. He has the route running ability. He has everything you need.
Yeah.
And he's coincidentally stands at the same height as Odell.
I mean, that's what I like about him. He's got the route running ability. People are making a big deal over DK Metcalf, but he can't run a route.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, you can't.
I mean, I saw a video of him. His form just lining up. He had his left foot behind his right foot. I mean,
Yeah.
All he is just a
straight
route down the field.
He's a Calvin Johnson that can't run a route.
Yeah, he could still be devastating, but
Of course.
I'm happy no team really reached on DK Metcalf. I thought.
Yeah, he definitely slipped a lot. I thought maybe a team would
went.
have reached for him in the first round, but no one did.
Yeah.
Wise.
Because I think the Seahawks got him about pick 60.
Yeah, the Seahawks will like him.
Yeah, I mean, the Seahawks were one of those teams that just traded back over and over again. I mean, they had 4 picks coming in, and they ended with 11. So, I mean, they really, they wanted more players. And, I think the Seahawks, depending on this year, could be going for a full rebuild, which is why I kind of was iffy on Russell Wilson signing that big contract.
Well, I mean, Russell Wilson's carrying them right now, and they are kind of going through a rebuild currently. But Pete Carroll has shown he's really good with young players. Like he elevated the Legion of Boom when they were all younger.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's gonna try to do the same type of thing he did before, and just get a whole culture of young people. Just because he's very good with young players, just like his thing.
I think it's going to be tougher because you got the Cardinals coming up. Cardinals threw a lot. They went for a lot of people. And then you got the 49ers that are not going to be as bad as they were last year, obviously. I mean, as long as Jimmy G stays healthy, that team's going to be contending for the NFC West.
Absolutely.
And then you got the Rams. I mean, the Rams aren't going to fall off that much. I don't think they're going to be as good as they were last year, but I think they're not going to fall off that much. I still have them winning the division.
All depends on Todd Gurley. They'll probably still win the division, but they can't win the Super Bowl without Todd Gurley.
Of course. I mean, that's what really killed them at the end because it all came to Jared Goff, and Jared Goff, I think he sucks, but... So, back to the 49ers.
Mm-hmm. Then you have Jalen Hurts. He was originally a running back at Tennessee, but he transferred to Baylor, and he wasn't even asked to do this, but he felt like he wanted to change positions to a wide receiver. Mm-hmm. And to me, that elevated his game even further. He's 6'4", and has the route running ability and the agility as a running back. He has the ball carrying vision, the elusiveness. I think in a Kyle Shanahan offense, he's going to be deadly. His Baylor's coach said he's easily a top 10 player in the draft. And if all goes well, I easily think he could reach that potential.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So, with the 49ers, what would you give the 49ers a grade overall in the draft?
I would give them a B or an A- or a B+, only because I feel I'm strongly against not drafting a safety earlier. Mm-hmm. We drafted a cornerback in the 7th round. We picked a linebacker, a tight end, and a punter over a safety or a corner. We picked a punter in the
fourth round.
Fourth round, we picked a punter. Kyle Shanahan and Lynch felt like they needed this guy for some reason. Yeah. So I'll believe him. I trust my front office. So I'm not against it, but that's my only issue.
So with this roster, what can you see the 49ers doing this year?
Oh, I could easily see getting a 10-6 record. We can make the wild card, to me. I think a sleeper player this year is either going to be Jerick McKinnon or Tevin Coleman. Mm-hmm. Only because they're in a Kyle Shanahan offense. And that's where running backs thrive. And both of those players are extremely versatile. Especially Jerick McKinnon. Coming off an ACL injury, though, I don't see any drop in his game. Yeah. Same with Jason Verrett, hopefully. Mm-hmm.
Jason Verrett has gone through a lot of injuries in his career. I hope he's still elite. It's been a minute, but...
Yeah, and then you got Jimmy G coming off the ACL. Yeah. So we'll see if his production, can get back up. Because we saw Carson Wentz kind of was iffy, at the beginning of last year. With his coming off his torn ACL. So we'll see if Jimmy G doesn't let that, hinder the progress especially at the beginning of the season. Because that's where it's going to be the most noticeable. I mean, once you get into week 5, 6, 7, you're going to be in full swing and like everything's going to be, back to normal. It's just those first few weeks are what worry me with Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, Nick Mullins was all right, obviously, but you're not getting to the playoffs with Nick Mullins.
No, of course not.
And who was the quarterback you guys picked up undrafted?
Wilton Spade, but I'm sure he's not a threat to start.
He didn't play a lot at Michigan. He will never touch your starting.
Yeah, I'm not worried. I'm not worried personally, but if for some whatever reason he does play, I'm assured we will lose that game.
So, I guess we'll move on to the final team we're going to talk about today. Probably the most controversial team we'll talk about today. Obviously, the team on my cap, the New York Giants. So, obviously, everyone knows the first pick, number 6 overall, Daniel Jones, quarterback out of Duke. A lot of people want to say it's a bad choice. They won't get him fired right there, for picking him. Everyone thought we were picking Josh Allen. And, I got to say, I think it's a good decision. Needed a future quarterback that he's learned, under the same coaches, Peyton and Eli. He looks like Eli, so not much to, change.
Too much like Eli.
I'm all in on Daniel Jones. I think you give it a year behind Eli, I think he'll be good. Even if it's 2 or 3. This is one of those picks that you can't judge till Daniel Jones' career, takes off. Like if he becomes the number 1, he becomes a quarterback, top 5 quarterback in the NFL. I mean, Dave Gettleman's gonna look like a genius. I mean, what he saw the potential in this kid. Mm-hmm. And then, if he ends up, being that guy that goes through his rookie contract and just blows and they get rid of him, then yeah, it looks like a really stupid decision. I think Daniel Jones is gonna have a good career. I think he can live up to what Eli did. I think he can win 2 Super Bowls. Get that defense built back up. The Giants have a lot of potential, a lot of money coming up in the upcoming seasons. And then you go to Dexter Lawrence at a defensive tackle out of Clemson. This threw everyone for a loop because everyone thought we were gonna be picking either a corner, an edge rusher, and then we went defensive tackle. I think it was a good decision as well. I think this, makes the offense or defense, kind of like the Eagles. The Eagles just have that rotation with and the defensive line just keeps bringing pressure because they have the rotation, keeping their guys fresh. So they got B.J. Hill, Dalvin Tomlinson, and they got Dexter Lawrence, and a lot of people are comparing him to Snacks Harrison.
Yeah, he's really good. I was going to say he's your Snacks Harrison replacement.
So I think that's a great decision. We ended up getting that 5th round pick for Snacks Harrison, which we used, I believe, for the linebacker from Wisconsin, Ryan Harrison, I believe, and he's going to be a good addition. And then we traded up into the 1st round on day 1 with the Seahawks at the 30th pick and got quarterback DeAndre Baker from Georgia. He is a great corner.
Very good corner.
Mm-hmm. He gave up 1 touchdown in his whole college career, and it was in the 2016 Fiesta Bowl against TCU. He's a lockdown corner. People have, judged him because he doesn't do much lifting, in the offseason. Doesn't hit the gym as much as everyone else.
I think he's a corner.
But, if he's locking down these guys, I mean, it doesn't matter how strong he is.
Deion Sanders mentality.
He's definitely in it. I think he's going to be he can be our number 1 corner. I think he'll start us, opposite of Janoris Jenkins this year. And Janoris Jenkins at OTAs has been a great leader. I've heard, he's definitely embracing the role of, being a mentor for these young corners. Because we also got Julian Love in the 4th round at corner from Notre Dame, and I think that was a steal. He's going to be another good corner. I think he could fill the slot. I think he'll be really good. I think those 2 would be starting day 1.
Great pickup.
And then you got, in the 3rd round, O'Shane Zymines from defensive end from Old Dominion. I think they said it was like one of the first players ever to be drafted from Old Dominion.
Not surprised.
And,
3rd round?
3rd round. And I think he can bring the pressure. He's a really good run stopper. I think he can help with the pass rush because that was a big problem for the Giants last year. It's definitely the pass rush. The whole defense is a problem, but it starts with the pass rush. If you don't get to the quarterback, it don't matter how long, the wide receiver's going to get open at some point. So you can have the best secondary, but the worst, pass rusher defensively bad.
Yeah. Speaking of your secondary, I love that you guys picked up Jabril Peppers.
Jabril Peppers, I think, I definitely don't think he got the right, mentorship, the right leaders to lead him at Cleveland. And, we got Antoine Bethea. He's a good veteran, 2-year contract to, kind of hold the fort. He said today that him and Peppers have, really gelled. They got some good chemistry building. So I think the Giants are looking good, after losing, Landon Collins. I think things are getting restored. And then on the offensive side, we picked up a wide receiver, Darius Slayton from Auburn. I actually, did a couple mock drafts, and I always had him picked in, 6th or 7th round. Yeah. We got him in the 5th. I think he's going to be a good addition. He could compete for that third wide receiver because, you got Tate and Shepard, 1-2. And then it kind of, gels down to Corey Coleman, Benny Fowler.
Wide open.
Definitely, wide open down there. The wide receiver from, he used to be on Denver. I can't remember his name.
So I can see it in my head.
He had a great game against the Cowboys in week 17. He was making one-handed grabs. I can't remember his. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Oh my god!
I see his face.
Oh my god!
I see his face.
This is insane.
Cody
Latimer, yes. Cody Latimer. He'll be competing for it.
And then you
throw Darius Slayton in there. So definitely a lot of competition. Our tight end position. Evan Ingram. He has the potential to be a top tight end.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I think he definitely stepped up at the end of the season, and then we picked up the offensive tackle to fill the right tackle position from Minnesota. I think it was
Mike Remmers.
Yeah. So I think that sets that offensive line. I think the Giants could have a solid offensive line. That's only going to help Eli make some better throws. Not be on the ground as much, and then that just helps Saquon. See what Saquon did last year with a horrible offensive line. Imagine what he would get when he gets holes.
Just a basic one, yeah.
Saquon has the potential. He's obviously the top running back. He could be the top receiver, top everything.
He could be the best player in the league if he wants to.
Yeah, I think he's the best running back right now. After 1 year, you could say he's the best running back. I think he's better than Zeke. I think they're the top 2 running backs in the league.
Yeah, they're both right there. I would still probably take Zeke just because, it's Ezekiel Elliott, but...
Yeah.
They're both very good in their own ways.
I think, with that offensive line, I think the loss of Odell Beckham helps Eli Manning because Eli Manning, most of his interceptions were trying to force the ball to Odell Beckham. And Odell Beckham wanted the ball every play. And, you could visually see on plays he didn't catch the ball, he would throw a hissy fit.
Be a little,
he'd be a little diva. He's pout. It's just I think it was just a cancer. He's just kind of creating drama that was just unnecessary. And then he was saying stuff about Eli, and then it's just, I think it was good to get rid of him, and we got a lot back out of it.
You guys did get a lot back of it. I think it was good for both sides, but at the end of the day, I just don't know how you get rid. Odell is easily a top 5 wide receiver in the league. He's just that talented.
Mm-hmm.
He's Odell Beckham.
Because I think Eli has thrived without a top receiver.
True.
He thrived with Hakeem Nicks and Victor Cruz. He, thrived with Plexico Burress and Amani Toomer. I think that just helps Eli when he's not having to have the mindset of, okay, I gotta look at Odell Beckham first every time. Because most of the plays he's looking at Odell Beckham first, and when he finds out he's in triple coverage, he's gotta find someone else. If he goes into a play thinking, all right, I've got options.
Yeah, I think it definitely might have ran its course there. They kept trying and it just really wasn't working. But I would have maybe picked Odell Beckham over Eli Manning. I know you can't do that because he has 2 rings and stuff. But,
yeah.
Eli is as old as he is, and Odell is very young. You could really build with Odell for the future and just find that quarterback that would work for him.
Yeah, Daniel Jones. I think him and Saquon Barkley are going to be a good combo. It's definitely going to make it easier when Daniel Jones does come in that he has that star running back. So he can, he only has to throw out maybe 25 times a game. Be a game manager. It'll help him ease into the league.
Yeah.
So that's why I think last year was a great decision to pick Saquon Barkley because you need a good running back, and the Giants did not have that. The Giants had Wayne Gallman, Paul Perkins, Orleans Darkwood, not stellar. I still think we could have gotten another running back this draft to replace Wayne Gallman. I'm not high on Wayne Gallman. He's been okay, but he's not, fantastic.
You don't want to run Saquon Barkley into the ground.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's the biggest thing is not running him to the ground, especially this year, a year where it could. This year has, projections are low for the Giants, but I think they could. That NFC East is kind of wide open. The Redskins are a mess. The Cowboys are, a little iffy. I mean, I think they're the favorites, and then the Eagles. That defense the secondary is really, it's iffy. And then Carson Wentz, big question mark. And I mean, if he goes down, there's no saving that team this year. There is no Nick Foles to save you this year. So, and I think Carson Wentz said he's playing without the brace this year. So, I mean, if he takes another shot, down low, I mean, Eagles could be, in trouble for the future. I mean, not just this year, but like in the long run, because
or he can go back to MVP form.
Exactly. I mean, we've had people predicting him coming back, getting MVP. I don't know about the Eagles. That whole division is just a big mess. I think it's just the big unknown. That's what the NFC East. The most known, I think it's got to be the Cowboys. Their defense is stacked. That hasn't changed. The only unknown with the Cowboys really is Dak Prescott.
Honestly, I think Dak Prescott turned into a different quarterback last year after he got Amari Cooper. He was throwing to Michael Gallup. And you can't even name another one.
Beasley.
Yeah, Cole Beasley who left. I think Dak Prescott's almost an underrated quarterback at this point. I think he deals with a lot. He's the Cowboys quarterback.
I still don't think he's worth $30 million a year.
I wouldn't give him 30. If you could get him in that 25 range, I think that would be better for him. But hopefully he has the self-awareness to know he needs a team around him and he shouldn't go for just
because they got to pay Zeke. They're going to have to pay Amari Cooper. I mean, a lot of people they got to pay. Yeah. And they just dropped a huge contract on DeMarcus Lawrence.
They have a lot of money upcoming though. They're not a real salary cap, restrained team right now. So they'll be able to.
So if the Cowboys can handle their own, I mean, that division plays the NFC, the AFC East. So that'll be interesting. We'll get one more Eli and Tom Brady, one more battle. Thursday Night Football in Foxborough. And maybe, because I think the Giants, their schedule to start the season really isn't bad. I think they have a shot to get a quick start. And if they do that, I mean, they could be real contenders.
Who do we got who's the first 3 or 4?
I think they have the, let me take a look. I know they open against Dallas. I mean, they always do every year.
Yeah, that seems so
every year with the Cowboys, it's just, it gets annoying. Then I think they play, I think the Cardinals are up there. So they play Dallas week 1. Then they have the Bills week 2. Tampa Bay week 3. Washington week 4. The Vikings week 5. Then you got the Patriots. Then you got the Cardinals, the Lions.
Cardinals are going to be fun this year.
First 8 games, they could go 6-2.
Yeah, I mean,
if they played their full potential, they could be 6-2.
And you think the Washington Redskins are iffy?
Yeah.
I mean, looking at the schedule, I just think there's a couple teams on there that I just think have just more talent than the Giants do.
The Bills are an unknown. I think the Bills definitely, they improved. I think Ed Oliver was a great pick.
That's probably a win.
I think,
I can see the Bills giving y'all some trouble, though.
It's in MetLife Stadium. That definitely helps. I think against the Vikings being at MetLife Stadium, that helps a lot because when the Giants, whenever they go to Minneapolis, they always just get their doors blown off. They play in New England. I don't think, the Giants always seem to give New England some trouble.
It'll be close.
That's true.
It definitely will be close.
I can see the Patriots just slightly edging that out.
Yeah.
Just because it's them.
I mean, it would only make things even, Eli's right now 3-1 against Brady. I think, I don't think Brady would want 1-4 against Eli. I think he would be hurt a little bit by that. At the end of the season, it kind of gets a little rough when you play Eagles twice in the last 4 games.
Yeah.
You play at Chicago. I mean, there's not too much of a shot there.
No.
They play the Packers right after. But the Giants could. I think the Giants could go anywhere from 4-12 to 10-6. I think they could be anywhere in between there.
That areas. I don't know if I can see 10-6 for them. The talent level on the team. I feel like more talent left the building than went into it. But maybe a lot of rookies will play well and people will take steps that I just am not aware of.
I see 7-9.
As long as Saquon doesn't go down, I think the team can go anywhere. Once Saquon goes down, I mean that team's done. I mean they're just done.
And Tom, who do you think's a better team, the Redskins or the Giants?
I think just looking at their entire roster, I would have to say the Redskins.
That's what I think too. I think I gotta lean the
I
Redskins.
feel like
just by a
they're
little bit.
deep too.
You think
Especially
so?
especially at the running back position.
Yeah, they had a pretty good drive. I'm pretty sure they got Bryce Love. I like Dwayne Haskins. I think the Redskins are definitely a team that are at least trending upwards there.
I think their offensive line's going to be an issue. I think that's one thing they didn't really address too well. I think, and Dwayne Haskins, I think the one thing that sets Jones away from Haskins is Jones can scramble. Haskins can't do that as well. He's more of just stay in the pocket as long as possible. You know, Jones, obviously, he's not going to be thinking run first, but like if he really needs to, he can be mobile. I think he's more of like a Russell Wilson. You know, he can get out there if he needs to. Obviously, Russell Wilson isn't, you know, going into every play.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, I think he should because, you know, that offensive line was probably the worst in football. I mean, Russell Wilson is the Seahawks.
Yeah, he's the one.
So, you know, we'll still talk about football here to end it, but we got our football game next week.
Yes, we do.
1 week from today,
Yeah.
you know, June 4th, 1 o'clock, Justice in Jackson, New Jersey. If you're watching or listening, just come on down. You know, we could always use some more players. One of our bigger games, you know, our cameraman back there, he's questionable. He's supposed to be the starting quarterback, but he's questionable back there. So, and I've been hearing some rumors that Trey, you might be quarterback.
I mean, we'll see what happens on the day of.
I vouch for Trey.
Ready.
I think Trey should be the quarterback. At least for some plays.
A lot of people were saying you were really fast and need to slow you down somehow. So
Figure it out.
and I've heard you know, some people tell me that you say you got a cannon.
Yeah, a little bit. I think when I get it loose, I definitely think I can throw that thing pretty far.
Yeah, I mean, when you know if you're quarterback, you're going to be the captain. So, I mean, what are you looking for on your team?
I'm definitely not trying to have like a slow-paced offense. I'm trying to have some speed out there, maybe a little Cliff Kingsbury-ish.
Okay.
So we're gonna see what's good with that. I'm gonna look at what's there and just draft some speed.
You know,
Kyler though.
Yeah.
Is that what you're implying?
No, I don't think I'm Kyler.
Oh, I was just making sure. Okay.
Maybe.
so you know, Tom, you know, I think you're going to be going up against Mikey. That's how it usually goes.
Likely.
You know,
Depends on the picks.
Yeah, you know, last game, I think you had his number.
I did. I believe so.
Yeah, you won that one.
Yeah, I mean, I know I threw a couple touchdowns to start the game too. You know, I won't be quarterback this time, unfortunately, unless James is out. I may have to step in.
Well, we can alternate quarterbacks for
Definitely.
sure.
I mean, I was running some trick plays last game.
Yeah.
Yes, you were. That one play,
The read option, I got him. Like,
That was filthy.
that was us, Tom. That was us. We read optioned that, man. You got everybody.
you know, we'll see if we could get some highlights of the football game, you know, from the previous football game. And, you know, we don't know if we'll get this next football game recorded. I mean, obviously, if James can't play, he'll be recording.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, you know, we'll get some good highlights because everyone, you know, the highlight video for the last game was pretty cool. I give props to Phil and James
Yeah,
making
amazing
that
work.
highlight video. Definitely, you know, just shows how fun the football game is. And I think I invited my soccer team. We may have a girl going for the first time. And she played rugby at TC&J.
Oh shit! So.
All right.
So
That's awesome.
I think, you know, how you gonna feel? How you gonna feel if she's got the ball? Like, are you gonna just
Yeah, you got
full
it.
send on the tackle? Like,
You got it. I mean, you gotta obviously with everybody else. You know, I'm not trying to kill them. I just want to bring them to the ground. You know.
I'll keep the hit stick button in my pocket.
yeah.
So.
I know, Tom. You're one of the dangerous ones when you get the ball. Like, you're definitely one of those taller ones. You get those you get the hands going. I'm telling you, you're one of the most dangerous threats. I took you number 1 in the last game.
Appreciate it. Hope it repeats.
You know, I'm kind of interested. Maybe I want to see you throw a pass. You think you could do it?
Yeah, I think I have I think I'm not a primary quarterback. I think if you throw me in for 1 or 2 plays,
Taysom Hill.
no.
So,
You think like a
let's
Danny
relax.
Amendola? Like,
No, yeah, Taysom Hill's a good comparison, I would say.
yeah, no. If we're getting the numbers we're thinking, we may get 11 on 11. You know, get a
Ooh.
full line. You
that's what we
know,
want.
last game we only had 1-man line. You know, it was kind of made blitzing too easy. But you know, if we get even a 3 or 4-man line to make it a lot better, you know, give some protection for the quarterback. And, I like how we limit the run plays because, run plays aren't that fun.
Yeah, no one really.
It's only fun when we're throwing the ball,
Yeah.
trying to get open. I think that's when it gets really fun. No one likes, just hand it off to the fastest guy and then he
just
go on.
Yeah.
So, if it is Trey versus James, I got no prediction because there's really no prediction to be made with no teams.
Yeah, you gotta.
I think it could be the best game yet. We got that 1 hour start, early time. We usually start at 2. Starting at 1 this time, I think it's going to be a great game. I think this is a good podcast, running about 40 minutes.
Great.
So, thank you guys for coming out.
Of course,
as
I think we'll be coming, every Tuesday. So we may even get a post game, podcast next week.
That would be great.
So I think I'll definitely be doing some more interviews like I did last time. I think that was pretty cool. So we'll get those out. A lot coming up this summer. Definitely going to be a lot to talk about.
Excited.
We'll be talking about the finals next week because we'll be in the middle of the
Yes.
finals. I think we'll be 2 or 3 games in.
Wrapping 7.
Go Warriors, strength in numbers.
Yeah, I think Warriors in 5 is being conservative. I think Warriors in 4 is, I think that'd be the right pick. So, other than that, I thank our cameraman James Vigliotti. Check him out, Vigliotti Photography on Instagram. He's elevated the DCAP, getting us on video and making us look cool and everything. We'll have to get him on here, in front of the camera sometimes,
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
So, thank you all for watching, and this has been the DCAP.